We go way back, so.
Yeah. So
Well,
so this is episode 15 of the Loft. Today we got IZB, Izaiah Brockington. What's up, brother? How you been, man?
What's up, guys? How are you? I'm doing good. Can't
Good, brother.
complain.
thanks for coming. Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
How's life up at Penn State right now?
I mean, it's getting better. You know, once it gets above 60, it's usually great. It's great times up here. You know, once we don't see any more snow, then I know it's getting around a nice time of the year.
You stay up there for the summer or no?
Yeah, I stay up here. Well, at least the second half of summer, but
Yeah.
That's good. Is it with COVID and stuff? With the bars, like, are they completely like shut down or?
no, they weren't shut. They closed at like 11 o'clock though, and like it was all sit down.
Yeah.
Like it was just you had to just sit at a table and order
Yeah.
drinks or whatever.
Right.
You guys
So it
kind of do
definitely
your
wasn't
thing.
the same.
So let's just dive in then. We want to start with your journey, how you started out. I know you went to Resurrection. We obviously went to Calvary. Kind of talk a little bit about how you go from there to where you're at now. What's that journey like? The discipline that comes with it. All the sacrifices you had to make, because I remember you didn't really go out much in high school. You know, you kind of were to yourself most of the time. And I kind of respected that from a distance. I always would be like, man, Isaiah's just putting in work, you know? So talk a little bit about that, because I know there's kids right now playing in the leagues we played in, and they look to you. So
I was just saying, like, it's funny that you talked about like me not going out, because I really used to be mad that my parents were that strict and they weren't letting me get into certain things or like go out with certain people. So, you know, in the end, it really did just keep me focused on basketball, really. And I knew that I had an ultimate goal and that, you know, sacrifices had to be made and everything. So, you know, I just stuck with the plan and kept grinding, really just, you know, staying confident, trying to stay me and throughout the years and just continuing to add stuff on. So definitely blessed to be where I'm at now. But yeah, all that really started, all that discipline, you know, really was instilled in me with my parents.
It's crazy because, like, dude, I remember when you came into Ryan for like the first workouts when like I think you were gonna be a freshman and I was a sophomore, I think, and you were a junior, right? At this point.
when he was going into his freshman year, I was going into my senior year.
Yeah, and I was going.
You were small, man. You were a little kid back then.
Bro, you were like 5'6". This crafty little lefty who like it was so funny. Bro, I remember playing you. I was like, who this little shit? And then all of a sudden, dude, like you just sprout. You had like this crazy transformation from like sophomore
going into his sophomore year.
Yeah, it was just like it was.
I remember coming back to watch you guys. And you were a lot bigger, like a lot lankier and shit. And I was like, because you always were athletic, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But that was one thing that stuck out to me, I think, was your work ethic. You were never out. Like, you were always just away somewhere, like hidden, just doing your thing, you know? Like, and that's kind of what it takes. I mean, look where you're at now. So there was a method to your parents' madness, you know? And then your stepdad always filming you and all that stuff. Like,
the nickname IZB eventually caught on, you know?
How'd that start? Who made up that name, IZB?
IZB, yeah, that came from my stepdad. I think it was in like 4th grade. He was like watching me play. So then he just had a little camera. He started recording me. And like when he was cheering, he just made it up. He was just like, IZB.
He was a
so,
legend.
I mean, and it stuck. He put it on YouTube and then people just started saying it. And the funny thing is, I never thought that it would like carry over. I never figured it would be a thing. Yeah. So like, it's like, oh, we're in elementary school, people saying IZB. I'm like, I'm about to go to middle school. Nobody's gonna call me that.
Yeah.
And they called me that as soon as I walk in the door at middle school. So then I'm like, I'm about to go to high school. Like nobody's really gonna know. So at first people really didn't. And then eventually people found out and then it just followed me. And then
everyone at Ryan would be chanting that shit.
Exactly. Then it turned into a chant and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And the crazy thing is that's not my initials. Like it's just the first 2 letters of my first name and B. So like
I wanted to ask you a little bit about your time at Ryan, like how that shaped you. Because obviously me and Kev both went there, all three of us went there, and there's only a very select few people who end up going D1 at that school, you know, because you got the Romans, you got the Newmans, and you got all those powerhouses, and then you were kind of just holding the fort down at Ryan, just competing with all those big dogs, you know? You think that made you better?
Yeah. I feel like that was something that I really was striving to do my sophomore season, more so like in my junior season, but it was just like we knew that we weren't considered a basketball school, or we weren't like always the best or whatever. So a lot of people just counted us out, and I was like, I don't want people to be able to do that to my school anymore, stuff like that. So it was definitely a lot of motivation just coming from like wanting to change the narrative like around Ryan basketball. So I mean, yeah, that definitely like motivated me during games and everything, just fueled me to win even more for sure. And I feel like it definitely made me a better player because of it. Because at a place like that, when I developed into more of a leader, especially like my senior year, I feel like it definitely helped my leadership skills, because like normally I'm just a quieter, lead by example kind of guy. Like I'm not really the type to be a vocal leader, but I feel like that really helped me being at Ryan for sure.
Yeah, I feel like your era is when Ryan really started competing with those. Like you guys were holding your own in every game. I remember going to all those games and just even those like the was your senior year when Wood won it, right? And they were tough, man.
They were so good.
They were tough. And I remember, I think the first time you played them, they gave it to you a little bit at Ryan. And
it was our first loss of the season.
Yeah, and they smacked up on you pretty good. But then in the semis at the Plesser, you were hanging with them the whole game.
Yeah.
You had a really good game that night, too.
Then I fouled out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was your mentality like, were you just like, I want to attack these guys, like you were like the news?
Like, because when we went my junior year, when we went and we played Newman, I felt like when we got to the Palestra, I was like, man, we got here, beat the brakes off LaSalle, got here, and then just like choked. And I was like, dang, I just choked in the Palestra. So like coming against Wood, I was like, man, these guys is like really good. But I knew if we beat them, I was like, we had Newman's number or Roman's number. And it was just like, I don't want to go out like that. Like I was like, I'm not gonna go out like just bowing out to them. They were just so good at so many positions.
Yeah, all five of their starters were just. That was one of the best teams I remember in the Catholic League in a long time, man. They were tough.
Yeah, man.
Do you still keep in touch with a lot of those guys from the Catholic League that you played against, or?
Yeah, we still see each other like in summer workouts, summer runs, in the off season and all that. And we definitely, keep up with each other through, responding to people's stories on Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
sure. Yeah, that's
like
one
of the best leagues, man. Right,
it's definitely like a camaraderie, like a brotherhood of guys that have been in that league. Just because like it's one of the best leagues, in the country and all that. So it's just knowing that those guys went through the fire too. It definitely, brings you together after high school, after those rivalries are done.
How'd you like playing with Lamar Stevens?
It was crazy. It was great to see him like work, like, from where he was in high school, and then, just how much he worked, how hard he worked, and like he was one of Penn State's all-time greats. So it was crazy to, just watch him work, watch him develop, and, learn under him, a lot about how he led the team and everything like that. So it was definitely eye-opening. For sure.
He's doing his thing on the Cavs. He had
he's producing, man. He's getting to a bag.
Yeah.
Man, it's great. I'm proud of him, man. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
What are your prospects looking like? You've been talking to anyone like in like the G League or like the league or anything like that, or no? You're just kind of.
So it's just like I just filled out like some stuff, like some paperwork so I could get feedback from like NBA like people so that they could like tell me things that I need to work on and stuff like that, and like where they feel like I should be next year if I want to get a look and all that. So like it's really just going out there just so like they can see my name or whatever, see my game or whatever, and then like just give me feedback, and then I'm just working on that all off season, so that I'm ready for next year, for next season to really take on a leadership role and just come out here and be better than I was this season.
What's this off season gonna look like for you? What's the amount of focus you need to have?
Like more focused than like I've ever had, honestly. I know that it's crunch time. I'm running out of years. Definitely just this year, how I played in spurts, it was definitely a big confidence booster for me, and just being recognized in the Big Ten, like as a key player, I feel like it definitely was a good start. And there's just a couple things that I need to tweak, things that I've wrote stuff down that I need to work on and all that, watching drills, watching film. It's just working on all aspects really, and just being versatile both under the floor and everything like that. So
because a lot of it's mental, right? We know that as players.
A lot of it is confidence. So just working on like the mental side of the game as well, really making reads, stuff like that, and just focusing on the next play. Like I want to do that like all next season for sure. Just next play. Don't let mistakes pile up, stuff like that. So.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, so like I haven't really seen, besides like the Penn State and stuff like that, I haven't seen you much since Ryan. So what do you think's improved on your game? Like, and like what do you think's improved the most since Ryan, since I played with you, me and Nick?
I feel like just my ability to utilize my athleticism like in a more controlled way, because like I feel like everybody in high school could like see that. Like I feel like sometimes it was noticeable that after freshman year I just got all this hype, like, and it was like, yeah, like I was playing good and stuff, but there was times like it was just like young mistakes or like being out of control. And even like when I got to Penn State, like I was still, I was still going too fast sometimes. So things like that. I feel like I really got better with being able to change speeds, being able to get to my spots. A lot of people talk about my mid-range game and stuff like that. So like I've just been working on how to get to my spots and how to, counter moves and stuff like that. So I feel like that has definitely gotten better. Just my IQ and like just being able to use my athleticism for sure. I feel like that's been like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Looks like you bulked up a lot too, man. You're looking bigger now.
Yeah,
it looks like you're definitely
thing.
holding your own with your strength down there.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely trying to gain some more weight. It's a little hard, but yeah, we definitely just been trying to have steady growth, really.
For sure. Do you have a personal trainer that you work with in the off season?
Oh, in the off season, no.
No.
We just have our up here. We have our trainer, our weight trainer, and everything. He sends us a plan, and then whenever I'm home, like I eat well, like so I have a good diet and all that, and I just make sure that I run and all that. So I make sure I run, make sure I get lift in because I got weights and all that. So it's definitely good for like at least a half of summer, and then we come back in the second half of summer and we go through all the conditioning drills and all that. So
I know it's got to be a demanding life, man. As a D1 player, like what is it like? The schedule's got to be probably down to a T when you're in the season. Waking up at a certain time, trying to go to bed at a certain time, all that stuff, right?
And it's really just like it's like the same. It's just like routine. really. Like you just there's not much much wiggle room really in a day. Like you just know the things that you got to get done that day, and everything's like real scheduled, real structured.
You keep in touch
And
with Joey a lot, Coach Zig. Yeah,
yeah,
he's been.
yeah, we still talk and everything.
Yeah,
Talked after the game, after the state chip and all that. But yeah, we
yeah,
still talk after good games. He'll hit me up, and yeah, we'll just like he'll like give me critiques and everything, things he saw.
right.
So yeah, for sure.
That's dope, bro. Yeah, so I want to talk about this, like the drop off from like having fans in the crowd to having no fans, like playing with COVID. That must have been a crazy, drastic change.
When you run into the stadium, it's definitely noticeable. There's just not that energy that the fans like during warm-ups and stuff create. There's no band.
Yeah.
You got like a couple hundred people like
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So it's like all the stuff leading up to the game, and then like after the game you notice it, but during the game you really don't notice it that much. Because they had like the fake crowd noise in the background. But when you're locked into the game, honestly, the only people like that you would look around and see, like you'd see your teammates. So
Yeah.
like you don't notice when there's just the crowd music playing. You don't notice that it's not an actual crowd. Like
Yeah,
until a stoppage of play for sure. Like when Miles hit the game winner against VCU,
Yeah.
like the crowd cheering was like off. So it was like quiet for a second
It was kind of weird.
after he made it. And I was like,
yeah.
it's a shame.
That's
You
But
guys,
it definitely killed some moments for sure.
yeah.
You guys definitely faced your fair share of adversity this year, right? I mean, you guys had a tough schedule, and the Big Ten was unbelievable this year. I mean, for the most part, right? But
Yeah.
talk about how you kind of handled the ups and downs of the season as a junior. And I mean, I know it's got to be tough with COVID. Maybe you feel like you're not getting the most out of the season sometimes, right?
Yeah. It definitely limited us, just with times that we could get in the gym, and just it was like getting tested every day in the morning. It was like cutting in the sleeping times and all that. But like it was definitely interesting like roller coaster season. It was a learning experience just about the business of basketball, and really just it's just the nature of the game really. And it was it's just a shame that everything had to end like that. But it was just really throughout the season, I just tried not to focus on all of that. I just really tried to lock in, get as many wins as we could for this season, not really think about too far in the future.
Yeah.
We don't have, control over that. So I was really just trying to tune all that out during the season for sure.
Yeah, you had a pretty good year though, man. You averaged like almost 13 points a game. I can imagine you should be at like 20 next year with that senior role.
Yeah.
Which is
sure.
which is dope. I'm excited to see, and I'm sure everyone in our neighborhood and everyone from Philly is excited to watch you play.
For sure.
I wanted to dive in a little bit too about your Bonaventure journey and how that led you to Penn State, because usually you have players who transfer schools and like I'm sure it's a huge mental battle because you just want to be in the best position for yourself possible. So talk a little bit about that, man, because it seemed like Penn State was the right decision for you.
Yeah, definitely. But Bonaventure, I didn't mind like the school really. Like I had great teammates. They had cool staff, and like it was only like 1,000 people at the school, but like it was cool. It was just real cold and everything like that. But I knew like after that first season, it was just I knew I wanted to be closer to home so my peoples could get to the games and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just like the coach, like we had end of the year meetings, and like he basically was telling me like that things had changed ever since he recruited me, like the things he recruited me, now he wasn't so sure of. And I felt like the times when our star player was hurt, during my freshman season, I stepped up and, we beat Maryland at 20 TCU. So I was like, you could see flashes during my freshman year that like I could be good. So I didn't know why he wasn't believing in me, but that just, it kind of, I was like, oh man, like I don't even want to stick around for like to find out like a whole nother year later,
right,
after he done benched me or whatever for whoever. Like I just figured I could try and get to a better situation, and I was lucky that Penn State offered me, and then I knew Lamar and Tone and Mike and Shep, just because they were all Philly guys, and I knew that they wouldn't lie to me about coach, about the school, and all that. So I'm grateful to be here for sure.
Yeah. And you're entering a whole nother world at Penn State with how big that school is. It's like its own city
It really
up there.
was.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, so how'd that process start? Because I'm sure you're looking to get out upon a venture. How did that process start from you going to Penn State, or were there any other schools that you were looking to go to too?
Yeah. So when I like declared that I was going to transfer, I think that was the first year of the portal, or it was the year before the portal happened or something. But it was like I had just put my name in, and I had talked to AAU coach, like my old AAU coach, and Zig and stuff like that, and it was like local schools. It was stuff like Temple, just like things closer to home, Temple, Rutgers, Maryland. And then it was the first place that I visited was Penn State. And when I got there, it was just like, I was like, man, I could really see myself here. And the way that I saw, like, they had a senior guard, I had to sit out a year. So just learning under him my whole redshirt year, and just continuing to develop, because I was younger than everybody else in my grade by a year anyway. So
right. How tough was it for the guys last season with the year you guys were having, and then COVID shutting down the tournament? Because, man, I was looking forward to seeing you guys in that NCAA tournament, man. You guys, I thought were going to make some crazy noise in that.
Yeah, us too, man. It definitely, I felt really bad for the seniors.
Yeah.
Just like, because they had worked their entire careers at Penn State to get to that moment, to be that good, like how we were.
Right.
It was just like, for us to be as good as we've been in decades.
Yeah.
To like literally have a once in a lifetime like thing just come and take it away.
Crazy.
Like that. It definitely hurt. It's definitely just makes you think that, there's a reason for everything. And just, we all just had to rebound from it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's always that, like, what could have been, though, man. I think about it. I'm like, because notoriously Penn State's been a football school throughout the years,
Exactly.
So it was so cool to finally see you guys as a team, as a basketball team, just making that noise.
Yeah.
And then seeing you on the squad, who we played with and everything, and just, man, I just wish you guys could have got in, because and that would have been crazy to see, but
you made your waves, especially last year, and even this year. You have 2 top 10 plays on ESPN this year.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, talk about that, bro. Talk about the games and shit. Like little IZB all of a sudden, man, just like on ESPN.
I did not call for that on talkback, but I'm going to.
I don't know where Izaiah Brockington called for that, but that's a one-handed hammer.
And once it slows down.
Well, he just got put on a poster, and sometimes that happens to a freshman.
Yo, it was really crazy. Like the first time that it happened, like I dunked it, and people was like, after the game, it was like, ooh, it's gonna be on Sports Center. But like I had never been on Sports Center, so I'm like, no, it probably wasn't even that crazy. Like I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Then I watched it. I was like, oh, that's pretty nice. So people talking about, man, you should watch out for it on Sports Center. So I turned on Sports Center that night, and I'm waiting for the top 10. They go through all the other sports, and I'm like, maybe I just might make it. So it's going through, and then it gets to number 6, and it's my play. And it was just like a crazy feeling, because like that's something that like I dreamed about when I was like a kid.
Yeah, bro.
And it's like, how many people really get to be on, Sports Center and stuff like that. So it was a really crazy moment that first time. It was just like, wow, I was on Sports Center. Because like when you growing up, like everybody knows, so like I was like, wow, that's cool. Like that's iconic. So it was definitely an amazing feeling. And then the second time I was like, wow. I was like,
I'm used
I
to
can
it.
get used to this. So
it puts everyone on notice too, because everyone's watching Sports Center. Like
everybody.
Yeah. Did you feel like it was all your hard work kind of just coming together, like all the videos
sure.
of IZB stepdad?
Yeah.
Like, filming at the
Well, dude, you had
games,
some crazy ass dunks in high school too. That you would just. I remember the one at Ryan versus Wood, when you came taking off down the left side of the court.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, that might turn the tide of the game. But
But it did.
Nah, it didn't. But it's all right. Do you naturally just have that bounce to you, or do you have to work on that?
I was always like naturally athletic, but after my freshman year at Ryan, like I went, like the season was over and I was like, oh, how am I still so tiny like this? I was like, I don't care. I need to be able to dunk. Because nobody cares about you unless you can dunk the ball. So I was like, all right. So I started after school, like 4 times a week. I started going after school, getting on the leg press machine, the calf machine, like all legs.
Yeah.
All legs and core. That's all I did.
Yeah.
No upper body. Was
I
not
remember-
interested in.
And then was that the first time you dunked going into your sophomore year?
Right, yeah, like the summer, like right going into it. And it was with my right hand. I could only dunk with my right hand for a little bit for some reason.
That's crazy.
So it was like, I felt like the work definitely like pushed me like over the top to get there. Cause I could already jump, but like, just getting extra, like that a little extra oomph. And then I started growing. So it definitely, I was hyped.
I'll be honest with you, bro. It was pretty drastic, that change. And I remember, like, when we were working out at the gyms, we do our summer workouts, he was always doing, like, when you have the weights on your shoulders and shit, you'd always be, like, doing, like, the calf, like, pushes and the calf presses and stuff. So, I mean, it was only a matter of time, dude. So, like.
Yeah, man, you worked. You got to get that edge over all the competition, And I imagine now it's going up a whole nother level because everyone D1's working their ass off, So,
man,
so
that was one thing I could say. Like when I was a freshman, like I didn't know the amount of work that guys was really putting in. Like, cause I ended up playing on that Bonaventure team with a guy who's in the league now. So, like Jay Adams, just seeing him like work out, like he worked out before practice, he worked out after practice, he worked out in the mornings, he worked out late at night, and he just like, I'm like, man, he could really shoot, but like it's because he's really putting in reps. Like he'd go a whole workout like not missing. So it was like, I was like, man, like that's like a different level of work. Like I'm working out once a day, or I'll be like, I got homework, or make an excuse for a day and not go in and stuff like that. Like it was definitely just cutting things like that out as I got older and more focused. And it's just like definitely freshman year opened my eyes to the work that is required to get to the next level. Cause like, yeah, that high school work and the college work is just two totally different things.
No shortcuts at all, bro.
At all.
Is your stepdad still coming to all the games? Your dad
still
too?
Come to all of them.
How about your dad?
Yeah,
still,
when he can get off work, he already knows for next season. He told me, he was like, next season I'm coming to all of them.
Yeah, man, you had great support, man, for sure.
Yeah,
they were always the loudest
That's one thing
ones.
I always definitely was grateful for, like my support system. Like my whole family's definitely always been on board since day one.
You keep your circle small, man. You kind of just, stick to what you know. Your team, I guess the team's like a family up there. Then you're all living together and.
Yeah, it's like real close. Just like I don't really go out of my way to like make new close friends, you know, and I'm like I got real close friends, and then I got like people I'm cool with, and then like, you know, people that just like
You're like IZB.
I talk
too.
to, like I'm just being nice, like if they think we're cool, then like cool. But like,
Right.
yeah, I definitely just I keep it to like, yeah, people that I've known for a long time, and like my family and everything like that. People that I've known for like years.
So I wanted to dive in too, because obviously we've known you for forever, but from your journey with Bonaventure at Penn State and even Ryan, like, were there any like obstacles you had to go through, any like adversity you had to face, like mentally, that you kind of overcame and worked yourself through to overcome?
I feel like, yeah, I definitely like overcame like my own, like my mental self-doubt and everything since coming to Penn State. So it was just like I had bet on myself by transferring from Bonaventure, and then I ended up coming here, and now you have to like prove that you belong. And when I had first got there, and like I was going through my redshirt year, it was like making sure that I stay confident in myself, like even though I'm not playing in the games or whatever, telling myself that when I do get my chance to go in, that I'm gonna be ready, that I'm gonna go in and I'll show what I can do. So then when I ended up playing, I still like I battled with it throughout the season. I was inconsistent. I feel like this season was a step in the right direction for sure. In terms of just like in terms of just keeping my confidence up, like no matter what's going on in the game, and really figuring out this year, because I like cranked up the work that I was putting in, and it was just like confidence comes from the work that you put in, and that was like a really big thing for me this year when things weren't going my way or stuff like that, and just and like remembering all the work that I put in, remembering the reps that I've done, and just not losing confidence in myself and my abilities, not playing passive and stuff like that. So I feel like it was definitely a step in the right direction this year. And I'm looking to really turn the corner on that whole thing like next season for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what you do on a regular basis to like grow your confidence and keep your mind right, but you're exactly right, man. It comes from preparation, right? That's where it all comes from. You gotta put the work in, and then the more you work, the more confident you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you've always been doing that,
Yeah.
though. You know what I mean? Like even since Ryan, like he's always been like he would never go out. He was always putting in the work.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the coolest things about the Catholic League is you're able to play against the best of the best, and you kind of have to put them on eye level with you, or you're just gonna get killed. Like you're not gonna be able to. Even me, I used to have to be like talking myself up, like I can play with these guys. They were on a whole different level than me, but it's kind of what you have to do, you know. Like
Yeah.
you're seeing all these guys in the Big Ten, and you were probably doing like just bringing them to eye level with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, and it's just like going out there and being a killer. So that's what it comes down to ultimately.
Who was your biggest influence in the league growing up in the NBA? Who was your favorite player?
I really liked just LeBron and how he did everything for sure. I'd say my favorite player right now is Russell Westbrook because
Yeah,
I
he's
just
a
love
dog.
yeah, he's a dog. I love his intensity, his explosiveness, and he's strong, 6'4", athletic, stuff like that. And he likes to rebound, he likes to play fast, and like the fact that he's getting buckets and like not shooting threes, or at least not on the Rockets. Like guys are playing him way back, and he's still finding ways to like get to his spot. Like so, he's definitely like my favorite guy right now. Russell Westbrook's like just because his mentality and his versatility.
You guys have a similar play style too. Is that who you mold your game after?
Yeah, I really I wouldn't say that I really model or like take moves from people, but like for sure Russell Westbrook's like approach and his like mentality and just using his athleticism to, set up other guys or go get rebounds and like go like attack. So I love that about his game.
It's amazing, isn't it? He's got in his tank, dude. Every night he just brings that same energy.
Yeah.
He plays hard. I don't like watching NBA games really.
No.
A lot of times they don't play hard.
I know. What did you think about the craziness of this tournament this year, man? That was a crazy ass tournament, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely unexpected.
Yeah.
It was wild. It was madness, like always, man. Really. I figured like the Big Ten would do better.
I know. That's what I was just gonna say.
Cooking each other all year. Like,
yeah.
Man.
Did you think Baylor was gonna win that game, or who'd you have?
Yeah. I was figuring Baylor was gonna win it just because I saw UCLA give Gonzaga problems, and they had good guards, good wings, and like after winning a game like that, I know that it's really hard to come out with that same intensity like a couple days later.
100%. That was one of the dude. That was a great game.
Win, for sure.
That was a great game. Them and UCLA. But like you said, Baylor was just more ready from the tip.
Yeah.
And Gonzaga, that took a lot out of them that game, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they just applied pressure. Like, but Baylor just never let up. It was yeah.
Isaiah, what's your advice to kids right now that go to that are in Region 1 where we came from in 8th grade or in the Catholic League coming up as a freshman, little freshman like you were? Like, what would you tell them to get to the level you're at?
You can't cheat the work, for sure. Make sure you put the work in. But once you put the work in, believe in yourself. That's like guys that aren't that good or guys that don't put in as much work as the next man will outshine them in games because of their confidence. Like, just make sure you stay confident in yourself. Make sure you never get too high or get too low, and just flush it. Move on to the next play.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. I mean, dude, we wish you the best of luck, man. I'm really excited as your friend just to kind of see where you go from here, because you definitely had a long journey, but it's gotten to where you're at now, and I'm really happy to see you thriving. And I wish your family the best. Hopefully your stepdad's filming games next year when they let all the fans in. So
yes, sir.
Get you guys in the
tournament.
Appreciate
y'all guys, man.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
I feel the same way, man. I'm really happy for you. I'm always watching, man. I'm always watching you.
Yeah, I always knew like that. Like, I always knew what it was with y'all. Like, I already knew it was all love. Like, everybody from like back at Ryan and stuff like that. Like, that was like, I was like a family. Like, that was like, we was
For
all
sure.
just like,
we stick to our
roots.
roots.
Just always close.
Yeah.
Through good and bad. It was definitely always all love there.
Yeah, man. You're one of us, man. You're one of us, and we're watching you shine on the big screen. Yeah, like Kev said though, I wish your family all the best. I haven't seen them in a while. I miss all of them though. They were always awesome with us.
Lit.
Yeah, for sure. And keep working, man. You're on your way, dude. I see a lot in you, man.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's crazy because
Sure,
us being able to talk to you has been really interesting, because we were able to see you, play against you, work with you, have a bond with you. Like, we all had a bond on the Ryan team, going to games together. And it's crazy to see your evolution. And it's like, we're like proud to see you like just working your ass off, man, because that's what we look for in our podcast too, bro. Just people who are just really going against the grain, and even starting out with like your dad filming you and calling you IZB, and you having that confidence, like, and it got you to where you are now. So we hopefully people can watch and listen to your story and kind of just get inspired by it. You know what I mean?
I mean, 3 years in a row, you came back and did the 3-on-3 tournament with me in Parkwood.
Yeah.
And all 3 years we went to the Final Four and we lost in the Final Four every time, bro.
I know.
We couldn't get over that Final Four hump, bro. What the?
I still think about those to this day. I'm like, man, one day I'm gonna go back and I will destroy
Give him the
everybody.
smoke.
Bro, you were giving it to them though. Bro, I remember I hit you with a behind the back pass and you just dunked on the one dude, bro. And it was like in the Final Four. It was on the main court. And I remember just looking around and everyone was just like, holy shit, dude.
He's all
Like,
It was
the
so
kid from
fun.
Rezo just slamming on
Yeah.
someone.
That was the best.
we're gonna create another tournament. I think they're done with that, but we'll start one up and we'll be on the same team again.
We were honestly,
For sure,
we were,
bro.
yeah, we were looking to
Right.
build our
I
own
love 3-on-3.
tournament down the line, bro. So if you ever wanna, you and your boys wanna come get involved or whatever, dude, we'll run it, you know.
Bet.
But
Yes, sir.
yeah, bro. But dude, we'll get in touch with you again, bro. I'm sure we'll be seeing you soon. Hopefully, you can start coming to games
Yeah.
and stuff. You know what I mean? If you come local or we go out to Penn State or whatever, bro.
Yeah.
But
Let's do it again too in the future. Come back on, bro.
yeah, when you're
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're getting ready for the
Definitely.
combine.
'Cause I'm gonna kill them combine.
Yeah.
That's the one thing.
Nah, but yeah, man, you got a long season ahead of you, bro. Keep working, bro. You're gonna kill it, man. I'm super excited. Where can they find you on social media too, by the way?
So at the only IZB on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Does your stepdad got a YouTube and give him a shout out so they can check out your old highlights and stuff?
Oh, well, he took down the old highlights once I got to the Big Ten.
I think
they
big
do
stuff
that.
up.
I think I typed in
So-
your name earlier and they got Ryan highlights of you and like they had a couple dunks you had versus St. Joe's Prep and shit. So,
Well, I mean, if you guys want to see how far you can dig in the archives, if you want to find like the old,
Yeah, I think it
old-
goes back to like 9th grade.
Yeah,
It don't go
man.
back that young.
yeah, to see the evolution. But yeah, like I said, it's episode 15 of the Loft. I'm Kevin Nichols. That's Nick Huser. That's IZB. And peace, guys.
see you guys. Thanks, brother.
Appreciate
That was
y'all
awesome,
boys,
bro.
You're the
man.
man.
That was dope, man. But
Man,
yeah.
this was nice. This was cool.